the interview that we do in the SSB. Firstly, you all must be aware that the SSB does a detailed psychological analysis of your personality through three techniques. The GTO sees you in a group, puts you through activities for the 2 days, and then makes out his assessment. The psychologist makes out his assessment by seeing the dossier that you fill, your 4 tests that you have, your TAT, WAT, SRT, and all. And the interviewing officer interacts one-on-one with the candidate for about 30 to 45 minutes. And during that time, it tries to explore your personality by questioning, by seeing what you have done in your life, how have you reached this far, whatever you are today. And so from that, he makes out whether you would be a suitable person to become an officer or not. Firstly, the most important thing in interview, what do you think is the most important thing in the interview? Since it involves a lot of talking, the interviewing officer and the candidate interact one-to-one. It is a strictly personal interview, and therefore whatever you share with your interviewing officer doesn't go out anywhere. He doesn't discuss with anybody else. He may discuss the overall traits that you have shown or about your assessment during the conference in the SFP, but he doesn't talk about specifics that you've spoken to. So first thing you should do is you should trust the interviewing officer and speak freely and be truthful. That is very, very important, because that will make your impression better and the job of the interviewing officer much easier. He doesn't have to dig deeper into your personality, because whenever there is a lot of digging involved in digging the personality, then there are a lot of stress created. And stress is generally bad for any activity, including interview, because it puts a lot of stress which diverts you from your core focus, which is of telling the interviewing officer how you are suitable to become an armed forces officer. Okay, so truthfulness is one of the important things. Second thing is your communication. Now what happens is, most of these youngsters today that all of you sitting there are generally good. I mean, that is why you are motivated to become an armed forces officer, and that's why you have chosen this as a career. Otherwise you wouldn't. So if you have chosen this as a career and you are truthful, now the problem is you are not sometimes able to put across what you want to say in a manner that the interviewing officer understands or appreciates. So that is very important. Suppose you have to ask something from your parents or from your say friends or anything. See, most of them would be ready to help you or be with you, but the thing is, the way you request them or way you put across your need is how they will respond. So that is how your personality projection is important. And to do that, you have to have good communication, in the sense you have to put across things in a cohesive, pleasant manner. Now, communication is one aspect. Communication actually includes your skill in the language, but what will you put across if you don't have anything? So that there comes the knowledge, your general awareness, your subject knowledge, and all that the interviewing officer asks you. So many people, when I say this, your basic things like people don't even remember their their marks. Many of them write something in the PAQ and say something else during the interview. So it gives a very poor impression actually. Genuinely speaking, the interviewing officer is not very much interested in your marks. If you have generally been able to do a reasonable amount of strive through your education with above average marks, and you have clear concepts about your subjects at all, he is very happy. We are not looking for 98% people who, when you ask a question, they are not able to give the basics. So there are candidates who have 94, 95%, but their concepts are very weak. So More than that, a person with about 70, 65, 70, 80% marks with a clear conceptual idea of things is a better candidate. So you don't have to worry too much about your marks or anything, try to hide something or pretend something or straight away start explaining why your marks are low or whatever. And so your knowledge base, your communication is the essence is of your language skills plus your knowledge base. These two combined together is your communication. Now, if you have the knowledge and the communication and the way to put across your language skills, confidence will automatically come. So many people say you should talk with confidence. You can only talk with confidence if you have the skill in the language or the way to talk or put across. Language means not only English. You can speak in Hindi, you can speak in English, you can see as long as you are able to convey what the interviewing officer is asking about from you. If you are able to convey it in a manner that he understands nicely, it is okay. Mix of Hindi, English, or pure English, pure Hindi, or in some manner you are able to put across. That is enough. And the second thing is your knowledge base. So if these two are there, confidence will be there. And pure confidence without these two is of no use because it doesn't serve any purpose. Because you'll be talking too much without conveying anything, which actually creates a bad impression. So confidence is a must, but confidence backed by substance. That is very important. Now, these are general points about any interview. Now, coming to your specific SSB interview, the first thing which is most important is filling up your PIQ forms. Okay? So, every column in the PIQ form, actually, you should read through it properly, understand every word in it. If you see the PIQ forms, you will find that, things like place of maximum residence, is your place a district headquarters or not? And things like whether your parents are alive or not, and what age if at all you have your parent which is not, one of your parents is not alive, then you have right at what age, when you were at what age they passed away or whatever. And regarding your, family, education, income, when you mention monthly income, many people write yearly income. And there are things like in the PAQ form, it is written elder brother, elder sister, or whatever, it's stroke. You don't strike out, it doesn't convey anything. If you don't strike out either the sister or the brother, just elder brother or his sister, and you write, doing BA and is doing so and so, or she is doing so and so. The interview officer will not come to know from the PAQ whether it is your elder sister or elder brother. So he will ask you during the interview, or you have to tell them during the interview. So this skeletal information that you give during the PIQ is actually a basis on which the interviewing officer develops this interview. So you have to be very clear in that interview in the PIQ, so that he can make up his mind and format his interview in such a way, and it also gives a information to him very clearly. So then it creates an impact on the interviewing officer. This candidate is very clear in the mind, right? You find that PIQ form is filled in a shabby manner, or you cut numerous times and then correct it. If you see whatever you are filling up in the interview form or the PIQ form, is all about you. There is no subject involved, there is no studies involved. Am I right? Everything that you do in the interview in the PIQ form is all about you. It's about your education, about your parents, about your place of residence, about your own. Everything that you do, your hobbies and interests, your extracurricular activities, your involvement in NCC, your age, your weight, everything is all about you. So there I am sure any conscious candidate cannot have a doubt there. So there is no reason why you should make a mistake there. I hope all these candidates who are listening are understanding the importance of this PIQ form.
Yes, sir.
Because many PIQ forms when the interview officer gets, especially when you get it online or whatever, a lot of information is missing from it. So the interview becomes more of a tedious process of digging out this information only, non-productive and waste of time. So if you are already so told that you have got one elder brother and one younger sister, then the interview officer doesn't have to ask anything. if you already filled up the details correctly, like many of you have written, like in this particular case, many candidates write about their own education. They write year and then percentage. Some of them write second division, first division, whatever it is, without giving marks. Some of them, don't mention the graduation, what they are doing. They just write against graduation. They write so and so institution and so and so marks and so and so year. So if we don't know what have you done in graduation, and graduation is such a big ocean. There are more than 200, 300 courses which you can do in graduation. So the interview also has to dig out from you why you are doing graduation in so and so subject and whatever it is. Suppose you are given that clearly, and like you've chosen some subjects for your education after 10th standard. You that after 10th standard is by choice that you choose. Up to 10th standard is almost standard. So after 10th standard, if you have chosen something for your education, then you would have a reason for that. You would have a reason why you chose that particular stream of education, science stream, science with biology, science without biology, or you have taken commerce, you have taken arts, whatever it is. So you would have a reason to do that, and that reason should subsequently flow out from your interview when you speak. And in many cases, we find that a person has switched streams, then again switched in PG they have gone to a totally entirely different thing. It is perfectly alright. There is nothing absolutely wrong in this. You can choose anything in 10th, subsequently shift after 12th to something else, and graduation you can go to something else, in PG you can go to something else, or you may be entirely doing a different thing from all your studies that you have done. There is absolutely nothing wrong. You have nothing to fumble or fear about it. As long as you have a clear reason for that and you have got a clear-cut plan for what you are doing. So therefore, you don't have to feel scared of this thing. And many candidates start fumbling or they're trying to hide certain things, like you've taken a break in a year in between for your say competitive examinations. There's nothing to hide. It's a normal thing for a candidate to take a drop. It is also normal for a candidate to have backs or fail or something. You missed a year in your graduation, but you made up fantastically well after that in a PG or subsequent life, and you're scoring now very well. That's okay. It is always, it is how you have faced your challenges, how you have gone ahead, which is the thing. So therefore, don't try to hide anything from the interviewing officer by saying this or that or something. And many candidates do that. I don't know for what reason and who has guided them. So don't do that. That's a very important thing. And PAQ form, pay attention. The second page where you write about your height, weight, and those things. Even I have seen that, when actual interviews, when you see a candidate, you know that he has lied about his weight. But there's no reason to lie. You are sitting in front of the chap, that fellow knows that, this experience, he knows that you are not 60 kilos, you are at least 75 kilos. So why should you lie to him? So be truthful, that's very important. Being truthful, firstly, you don't have to worry about anything. There's no additional stress on you other than the interview. Because being untruthful is going to put a lot of pressure on you. Your mind is not at a stable state when you're listening, because the interviewing officer will ask one question and it will trigger so many other stresses. Because what happens is, you are told a lie about that, and to hide that you would have to tell something else, then you are told a lie about your routine, but then you so all those kinds of things will be there. So be truthful, let the interviewing officer know that you are listening, and when your interviewing take place, simple things like what have you done in your school and all your extracurricular co-curricular activities that you do. So when you write about that, and be truthful to what level have you participated, be truthful. Now what happens in most of the cases we find is that interviewing candidates, they write something in the BIQ and they talk something else, because that is not the truth. Because they have forgotten what they've written in the BIQ. Because BIQ, by the time you come to the interview, it's already 2 or 3 days old. So you've probably forgotten what you've written there. So you start talking about something else. And then when you're not taken part in an event, or when you're not done some extracurricular activities, don't write that, because he will ask you some questions to clarify, or if he suspects something, you don't seem to have done this, or you missed out on that, then when he queries, you will not be able to clarify that and justify your participation. And thereafter, about your attempts, your entries, you don't have to hide, because many people, when they go for SSB and they get screened out in the stage 1, they don't write that in the thing, because anytime you step into the SSB, it is counted as a SSB chance. You may have been screened out 5 times and not recommended twice. So your SLB chances are 7 times, not 2 times. So you should be there, and when the interviewing officer interviews you, you say. And then what is important is that being truthful and being absolutely, when you don't know something in the interview, you should, it's better to say that I don't know. And then say I will find out or whatever it is. Then 80% of your interview that you gave is all about yourself. More than 80% actually, I would say. It's all about you, your education, your friends, your teachers, your family, and your engagement in the family, and your hobbies and interests. And then a small portion is to check whether about your general awareness, current affairs, and all, just to see whether you've generally been keeping updated. And that's all. So if you actually see, it is not like a very complicated interview where you have to work through a lot. If you just keep your mind and your ears and eyes open and be watchful and listen, listen to what is happening around you. Generally, listen to news once in a while, whatever pops up in your, in shorts, news and other things. That's good enough. You don't have the in-depth knowledge about anything because they're not interested. They just want to know whether you generally, because in-depth knowledge can be obtained whenever there's a requirement or anything. Any particular topic, suppose you want to speak, you can always have in-depth knowledge because your skeleton is already there. You have to only fill in the meat. So I hope this has helped you in understanding what you can look forward to in an interview when you go for a SSB interview. And if any of you have any doubt, you can clarify from me by sending me WhatsApp message or whatever. But the most important thing is you have to feel comfortable, you have to feel confident, and you have to maintain a cheerful disposition throughout the interview. And before we start the interview, what is required is you have to be calm, be focused, pay attention to the questions which the interviewing officer is throwing at you. Many times what happens is, out of stress, you don't listen to the interviewing officer. You only pick up points because you already practiced interviews. You already been to, institutions for training. And therefore you generally know what he is going to ask. But you don't know what, when an interviewing officer asks you, because these days almost all the candidates come very well prepared. And it's a must also, it's a good thing also. A candidate should come prepared because obviously you have to give the due importance for this activity. But because of that, what happens is you take it for granted that he is going to ask you the same things that has been asked in the previous interviews. And if the interviewing officer sees you, and initially you start with the normal routine conversation just to break the ice and develop a kind of a comfortable, break the barrier of communication between you, because you are a candidate and the interviewing officer, so generally a little hesitance will be there from the candidate side. Just to put you at ease, he will talk to you for something, then he will go on to the core interview when he starts. And when he starts that questions, he'll deliver a series of questions to you. You have to understand every part of the question. Now, this portion we will discuss after the interview, because it will be actually interfering with the interviewing method itself. So you have to pay attention to every part of the question and try and answer it. That is very important. So that you should keep in mind when you go for interview. You have to pay attention to what the interviewing officer is asking, and every aspect of the question. There will be 8-10 questions thrown up together, and those questions you have to one by one, not necessarily in the same sequence. And irrelevant questions you can always leave out also. There's no problem. But try and attempt every part of the question. Okay? So I hope you are now comfortable. We can start with the interview. Is it okay?
Yes.
Mansi?
Yes, sir.
You are ready?
Yes.
Okay. Mansi, you can come to the center of the screen. You are on the one side of the screen. You can shift your mobile or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Right. Good morning, Mansi. Welcome. So, how are you doing?
Yes, sir.
Where are you from?
Basically, I'm from Patna.
Okay. So tell me something about your place.
So Patna is a beautiful place. Uh, there I visit once or twice a year, and the place is somewhat of a village kind of place. The place where I live is Maner. The laddus there they make Maner is famous for them, and it is a very normal place where you can enjoy the village life.
Okay. Good. You seem to be knowing a lot about your place. Now, Mansi, the next about half an hour to 45 minutes, we shall be talking about you and your activities. I know something about you from the form that you filled, but we shall now talk more in detail about you and to cover areas of your schooling, education, and your extracurricular co-curricular activities, your friends, your teachers, your family, your hobbies, interests, etc. Okay? To start with, suppose you tell me about your education starting from your 10th standard. What are the percentage of marks that you scored in your final examination on a yearly basis? Which are the subjects you chose for further education after 10th standard? Which subjects you like, which subject you did not like so much? And also tell me why you chose this stream of education, with what plans of career options in mind. And during your schooling and college, what are the extracurricular, co-curricular activities that you've taken part, including games and sports that you've taken part? To what level and what have been your achievements in those? Tell me about your friend circle that you moved around in school and college. How many friends do you have? Whom do you consider as close friends? Why do you consider them as close friends? And also tell me about some friends with whom you do not get along too well or you tend to avoid. Talk to me about the teachers you like the most and some who did not impress you. You can start.
So starting from class 10, I scored 87.4% in 10. I scored 75% in 12. Both of them I did from KV Association Ajamgarh, Delhi. For my graduation, I did BSc Chemistry Honours with Maths, and I scored 74.15%, and I did it from Bhopal, Institute for Excellence in Higher Education, IUH. After that, I moved on to BEd, which I did from the Bhopal School of Social Sciences, and I scored 80.34%, around 80%. And after that, I came to Pune, and from Modern College of Arts, Science and Commerce, I am pursuing MSc in Analytical Chemistry. So, in class, after my class 10, I chose PCM, Physics, Chemistry and Math, because I like science, and the subject which I liked the most were math and chemistry. The reason behind it was that both of them are logical, and once you know the fundamentals in both, in math, once you know the fundamentals, you get to play with the numbers, and once you know the fundamentals in chemistry, you know the how the electron is moving, and with that you play with chemistry. And for that reason, the same I kept continuing in my graduation and still in my university. In my graduation, I chose chemistry and maths, and now I'm doing analytical chemistry. So this was the reason for choosing my subject. The extracurricular activities which I took part was of various kinds. In my school days, I enjoyed playing badminton and kabaddi and chess, but on a casual level, not on a professional level or national level, just for enjoyment. Uh, but I took part in other activities, like I was more interested in art, so I used to make mehndi and rangoli, which include intricate designs. Then I took part in fancy dresses, modeling, ramp walk was there, group dances, skits, drama, everything. These included the use of my interest. And In these, I got awarded from Miss Madhya Pradesh for my ramp walk, and I was able to perform my group dance at the regional level in Gandhinagar when I was in school. After that, moving on to my friends, I have a quite big circle of friends, and in my friends, everyone is my friend, my juniors, my classmates, my seniors, be it anyone, everyone is almost my friend. But out of them, some of them are uh, very close to me. Like there is Sankar, Sweta, Pushkar, Pooja. So these are some of my friends whom I'm very close, and this is the reason because we have some common area of interest, and presently they are my classmates in MSc. And moving on to the teachers, uh, basically two of them are my favorite teachers. One is Mr. Suman Kumar sir, who taught me chemistry in my class 12, and one is Professor Dr. Sachin Satya sir, who teaches me organic chemistry in my MSc. The reason behind that is because of their sound pedagogical foundation and their ability to make us student-centered classroom, and they always uh, check our previous knowledge on the topic before introducing the new topic. So this was the reason why I like these teachers, and
Okay. So tell me about some friends with whom you did not get along too well or tend to avoid, or what kind of people you avoid. And talk about the teachers who did not impress you.
okay. So basically, I like to enjoy with everyone. There is no such, there is no one whom I don't like to hang around. But there are some people who procrastinate things. I like to avoid them because first I try to improve them that you don't procrastinate. But if they still do, uh, I धीरे धीरे I make starting the distance with them. For the teacher, there is no such teacher, but yes, there is one teacher, Mrs. Kashif, whom most of the students don't like the style of teaching she uses, because her teaching style is very content driven and not a very application based or the use which we can use out of that topic. So these are the points.
Okay. So you, what are you doing now, presently?
That presently I'm doing first in MSc, analytical chemistry,
And B.Ed in when did you complete?
in 2024.
So what is the purpose of doing B.Ed?
So I was also interested in teaching when I was in class uh, 12. I used to teach students up to class 10. I used to do tuition, and from there on, I used to whenever, whether it be with my graduation or anything, I used to take a chalk and stand in front of the door, and I used to just anonymously, just randomly teaching students which were uh, not there. So in my class 10th, I started taking tuition, and from that point, I thought that I might give it a chance. I like teaching, so from that point, I pursued B.Ed and also gave the CTET exam.
Okay. Uh, till what age or what class you played kabaddi and badminton and all?
So I played kabaddi and badminton in my class 6th and 7th, starting from there, and then I continued it till class 9th, and after 10th I stopped everything.
Why did you stop? You don't seem to have played any games at all, except casually.
Yes.
How come you didn't take any facilities because you studied in KB? A lot of these facilities are available.
Yes.
Why not take part in sports?
Basically, my thought was that while I was playing all of them at casual level, I used to play it in the evening with my brother or my friend. So I took the advantage of every of these games. By badminton, I improved my reflexes. With kabaddi, I improved my strength. And by playing chess, I was able to improve my mental ability to plan and to respond on those things. These were the things which it all benefited me. But I never thought of I never gave it a chance that I might take it to a professional level. So, and I was not that interested. I played it casually, but I was not interested to play it on the national level or take it to another level, higher level.
Okay. So you are a chemistry major now.
Yes.
Can you tell me what is valence band?
What is
Valence band.
balance band?
Yeah.
Balance. So I know balance bond.
Valence band.
Band. That I don't know.
Okay. What is an isotope?
Isotopes are those compounds which have same. Isotopes have the uh, same molecular mass.
And
Yes, sir. Mass number.
mass number is same.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Yes.